Welcome back, everyone. It's AP Gains. Today we're going to do a 2025 review of Tacticus, the Warhammer 40k mobile game. I was playing this game on launch and did play for a little while. I stepped away because I was cutting down on gaming in general, but also the game wasn't moving in the direction that I thought it needed to go, or fast enough. The velocity was wrong. The speed and direction were both not where I would have liked them to be. But we'll talk about whether or not that has changed. I've been playing a ton recently, getting back into it, talking to a lot of creators, a lot of high-level players, and we'll give you a review. Before we do, if you are going to end up playing this game, use the referral code VAT80MAX. It'll help give you some rewards, give me some rewards. All you have to do is go into your settings. There'll be a big green button that says refer a friend. Punch in that code and you're all set. All right, 2025 review. Now, when I stopped playing a few years ago, what didn't I like? Well, first and foremost, there wasn't a ton of characters. Now, I do have multiple accounts, but this is the one that's on like my actual iPhone that I don't spend money on and just have fun with. There were not a ton of characters. I think when I stopped playing, there was definitely no Tyranids. The orcs haven't been reworked. We'll talk about that. Tau were like kind of out, but not all of them. And there was no Mechanicus. The Aldari were like hush hush. I couldn't talk about the new ones that were coming. I think the last character to come out when I quit was Ulf, so that'll date me for people who have been playing since day one. It's been a while. But the game has changed. As you can see, they've added a lot of new factions. I'll talk about that. A lot of new game modes, new mechanics, and a lot of the issues that I had have been addressed. We'll talk about whether or not they've been positively or negatively addressed, but we'll talk about them. So, first and foremost, I will do a early game farming guide at some point. I'm not doing a ton of YouTube. I've taken about a year off or so. So just getting back into the content creation game. But I'll have a guide for you guys. Now, this is different from a lot of mobile games. I would say this is more of a cross between Raid, Shadow Legends, Galaxy of Heroes when it comes to character farming. So the first topic we're going to talk about is actual character farming, unlocks, progression, gear, that sort of stuff. Now, there are some characters that you can just farm, right? Like Angrax, for example. If I click here, it'll tell me where I can get him. I'll go, oh, look, there's a battle. That gives me access to a chance to get Angrax shards. Beautiful. There are some characters that are not farmable. Let's take a random example. Let's say Titus. Oh, here's his little icon. Where can I get him? You can't. You can obviously get all characters in requisition drops, which is the like gotcha gambling game mode. And that's the part that kind of relates to the Raid Shadow Legends. Anyone who's played that game knows that you unlock characters by opening packs and stuff like that. So there are some characters you can directly farm, some characters you cannot directly farm. They've added new campaigns that didn't exist when I was first playing. I'll talk about all of this other stuff. They added a whole new Aldari campaign to help you unlock Thousand Suns, and then of course the mirror to go back the other direction. They've also added these campaign events, which are starting to pop up, which give you periodic chances to farm certain characters that maybe they don't want to create an entire campaign for. They are a company, they are specifically a mobile game company, so don't expect massive, massive free content that doesn't have the opportunity to get you to spend money. This is not one of those, but it is nice to see that they are opening up the floodgates a little bit for good characters to be quasi-farmable. You're not going to get these characters super quickly because these events don't come around all that often. But when they do, they give you a chance to progress more powerful characters. The AdMech team are one of the best in the game, so definitely a positive there. Now, legendary events. A lot of characters you can either farm or you can pull or you can get from campaign events. And there's characters that are, well, there's normal unlock characters. Like right now we have the first just generic unlock character for the Adeptus Custodes, the little banana boys. I'm very excited about this faction. I'm more of a Raven Guard person, but they're a close number 2 for me, so I am pushing in quite a bit to get them. A little stun locked on energy, and we'll talk about energy is a little annoying, but that's most mobile games. Yes, legendary characters. So legendary characters are denoted by, if you don't have them unlocked, this little legendary frame. Let's see. Who is the current one? It is this boy, Trajan. His event was hard, but if you knew in advance what you needed to do, it was certainly not the worst thing in the world. If you're a whale or an existing player for a long period of time, you can get these kind of characters just by having a big roster. Just like every other mobile game, new events, they're going to have characters that not a lot of people have. They're going to comb through their data and say, you know, only 15% of players are investing in this certain set of characters. We're going to make them required to unlock this new legendary character. Then, hence, the people who spend money to try to get those characters. The people who don't have to kind of free-to-play trudge along, and hopefully, you know, it encourages newer and newer people to end up spending money on the game. That is the goal of games like this in a nutshell, right? I don't think anyone has any misgivings about how the industry works. But they are relatively doable for normal people, right? If you have been playing for 6 months or so and you see a video from a content creator, they usually give you like a week or two heads up about what kind of characters are going to be required for these events. You have 3 goes. They come around not very frequently. You can get these characters for free by just working towards getting the characters. And we'll talk about in the free-to-play farming guide what kind of characters perform well in a lot of these events. There is a certain number of overlaps, but from a free-to-play to acquire the highest tier of characters, I would give them a good rating as opposed to other games. You do have a chance to unlock these characters if you are deliberate in the ones that you want to unlock. You switch over your farming to get those characters and you stay consistent. I won't discredit them for making some characters utterly unavailable, aside from the characters that literally are utterly unavailable unless you get them in requisition shards. All right, as far as content is concerned, they have drastically increased the content. Tournament Arena was like brand new when I stopped playing, but now it seems to be a lot more fleshed out. I don't really do a lot of PvP in this game, mostly because I just don't have time, so I kind of just go in at the lowest tier, mess around, have some fun while I'm, you know, waiting for the laundry to finish or whatever the fuck I might be doing. But there is certainly an increase in PvP type content. There's also Guild Wars, which most certainly was not even a thought when I stopped playing, but is actually quite fun. It's like Territory Wars, if you played Galaxy of Heroes, or a lot of other games have mechanics where your guild has this massive all-out PvP against the other guild. It is quite fun. There's more raids, of course, that didn't exist when I was playing, and they go up all the way to legendary events. This one is always a little bit of a pain in the ass. You know, Arena is pretty much the same with Onslaught and Salvage Run. They've increased the tiers. So from a content perspective, there is certainly a lot more to do. I don't frequently find myself with nothing to do. Of course, there are days where there's no tournament in Arena, there's no hero release event or legendary release event, there's no campaign event, and you're just kind of like doing nothing and you don't really do much that day, and that's fine. I mean, these types of games are not meant to be played for, you know, 5, 6, 7 hours a day, right? These are games that kind of hook you in those down moments where you're, you know, taking a shit, or you're just trying not to work while you're at work, or you're sitting on the couch watching the game or whatever, and it's a commercial, right? And for the purpose that a mobile game serves, I would say Galaxy of Heroes, sorry. I'm getting back to my roots. Tacticus kind of hits all of those buttons. So when I quit, there was a lot of issues. Now it seems they have rectified pretty much all of them. I was going to kind of say that the farmability of certain characters is not where I'd like it to be, but I think with increased levels of campaign events, I think that can be mitigated. Eventually, they'll add, you know, another campaign and mirror campaign, and then that'll add a new, you know, 6 characters, or, well, I guess 10 characters technically. 6 required characters and 10 total characters will be farmable for players, which will be really nice. There's obviously no timetable on that, but as they continue to make more characters and make older characters available, I think it's going to become a promising game. Now, the community is quite small. It is quite small community, so very tight-knit. The Discord's fun, the Reddit's fun. Not a great space for content creation simply because there's just not a ton of viewers. That's kind of a problem that a lot of mobile games have. However, I really enjoy this game now, much, much more than I did when I played on launch years ago. So I don't know if I'll be making a ton of videos, but I'll be around, mostly just farming and letting you guys know how my shit goes. Woo, okay. I don't really have an outro for this video. I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts, mostly as an exercise to make sure my mic still works. So I'm going to end the recording and hope when I listen back to the audio that you can actually hear me. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I love you, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.